Rights. We hear it used in varying contexts. But do you know that you, as a child, can have these rights as well, apart from those basic human rights you possess? It means that, as a child, you have a special set of rights that helps you develop and mold you as a human being of this world. But before that, let us define first rights and its connection to you as a child. Rights is the moral or legal entitlement to have or obtain something or to act in a certain way. Well, what is the connection to this to me as a child? Well, you are entitled to child rights. It is derived from the basic human rights as set by the UDHR or the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You are not simply living in this world with nothing, for you have the power to be acknowledged right before the law. Your freedom to play and your access to education is entitled to you because you have the right for it and no one can take it from you.
Let's talk about the 12 rights of Filipino children. Number 1. Right to be born well. It is the responsibility of the parents to make sure they can provide a safe environment for their unborn child. This includes proper medical attention and care from conception, birth, and throughout childhood years. Number 2. Right to a loving family. They are entitled to be a part of a loving family that will instill ethical values and morals in them. Number 3. Right to be raised well. By raising them in a safe and loving environment, parents and guardians can shape the personalities of their young to be useful and contributing members of their respective communities when they grow older. Number 4. Right to basic needs. It includes a balanced diet, adequate clothing, sufficient shelter, and proper health care. This also includes any other requirements to lead a healthy and active life. Number 5. Right to have access to what they need. A child's needs must always be attended to so they feel the support of people around them, which in turn will build and strengthen their character in adulthood. Number 6. Right to education. Every child should have the means to go to a classroom and have access to books and learning materials that can enrich their intelligence and skills. Number 7. Right to play and enjoy. Children have the right to engage in wholesome recreational activities whenever they wish and not be exploited for events that are deemed only for adults. Number 8. Right to have protection. All hazards that could affect their physical, mental, and emotional states, such as removing them from dangerous living situations, preventing them from getting into accidents, or protecting them from the abuse of adults. Number 5. Right to live in a productive environment. Children should be surrounded by safe communities that inspire them to give back when they are older. Number 10. Right to be taken care of. If the parent or guardian fails to fulfill their role, the state shall assume custody and care for the child, providing them with their fundamental needs for growth and development. Number 11. Right to good governance. Children also have a right to be born under the presence of good governance that can inspire them to become a helpful and active citizen. Lastly, number 12, right to freedom and peace. Every child is entitled to do whatever they want in their lives, so long as it contributes to the peace and betterment of the communities they are a part of.
In spite of some of the many circumstances that we face every day, how do we fight for our rights? It can be one of the following. Number 1, utilize your freedom of speech. After knowing some of the points and bills and rights of this discussion, one can infer that you can use your freedom of speech in expressing your opinions and rights and be vocal about it.
Number 2 is we need to stand up against discrimination. Discrimination is a common social injustice that is visible in almost all countries, including the Philippines. If we stand up against discrimination, there will be a significant difference in terms of quality of life of all Filipinos under the Philippine government.
Number 3, aside from utilizing your freedom of speech, learn and practice to utilize your other rights. Practice it whenever possible. In cases where you are questioned by the law or the police or the authorities, state some of the laws and some of the rights that you have as a citizen of this country. By that, you will have the power as a human being because you are given the right and to perform and exercise some of your rights as a human being of this country.
Number 4 is point out social injustices. We need to point out social injustices that we see. We need to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, for those who are under oppression. We have the right to criticize and expose those who are in authority abusing their power for their own benefits.
And number 5, help others be informed of their rights. You are knowledgeable enough and you were given the chance to have the knowledge of the rights and basic rights of you that you possess as a human being or as a citizen of this country. Help others be informed with their rights. You can be their voice and be their guide in finding some of their rights in this country. You might know, you might be the big help for every other person. And one small act can help a lot in making a better place for all of human beings living in this world. And that would make a difference. Children's rights. Aside from the basic human rights, it also belongs to the fundamental rights that encompasses the day-to-day living of a child on a sovereign state. Moreover, through these rights, they are ensured that they are protected and acknowledged by the law as prescribed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Despite being a child, they still have the rights that mold them as a human being, and it is also proper to fight for them, like those who can be seen in the basic human rights. Children's rights need to be realized. Help them grow for them to actualize.